Okay, welcome MegaWhale team to another Bitcoin update video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the daily chart, more or less looking at the bigger picture, and we've got a few different scenarios we want to go over today. We have spoken about these in our Telegram channel and on Twitter, but we're going to cover it today on YouTube as well, just to keep you guys updated with what we expect to happen over the coming weeks. Alright, so before we get into anything, we're just going to take a look at our chart here. We have our long-term resistance zone, which is this yellow box, as well as our demand zone, which is this yellow box at the bottom. At the moment, we've seen a strong move downwards from the top of the rising wedge. We did retest $43,000 range, like we said we would, and we pushed up into this resistance zone, which we have now actually been rejected. We had 5 days, we notice over here, 5 separate candles close below the resistance zone. Now that was a very obvious sign that we were going to crash pretty hard, and we did actually say on our Telegram channel, I'll bring it up in a second. Let me have a look. Here we go. Let me draw it into the screen over here. We can see on the side here. This was posted yesterday. Bitcoin looking very weak. Most likely to see a drop very soon. Reduce exposure for now unless we break a daily close below above 52k. And obviously we linked the video in, but you know, it was very obvious we were going to drop down, and we have dropped down. We had a pretty substantial drop, and not only Bitcoin but the entire market. 6.7% drop is pretty substantial for a one-day candle, and now we're facing that 200-day moving average. So you can see currently we're just underneath that 200-day moving average. We've got a few different scenarios that can play out. So we'll talk the bullish scenario first. And we have gone over all of these scenarios in a lot more detail in our previous videos. But for today's video, we just want to summarize it all, make it accessible and easier to understand, as well as nice and condensed in one separate video. So the first one is we break above our critical resistance zone. We get break above, push to $60,000, which will be our next support, our next resistance, sorry, and we have a potential to push to the top of the channel. This is where I expect a bull run to end if we do continue. If we zoom out at the moment, technically, we are not in a bear market yet. I've been saying it for a while, we're not technically in a bear market yet. We are very close to being in a bear market though. So for us to be in a bear market, we need to break below our trend line. So this trend line being this black line here. If we break below the trend line, we are in a bear market. Now there is a possibility we fake out, and this is what we're going to be talking about, the demand zone. Let me get my arrow out. If we do crash downwards here and reach that demand zone, there is a chance we can actually pump back in and restart that trend. Also saying that if we lose that demand zone, we will come down to the 200-week moving average on the weekly chart, which will position itself around $25,000 to $30,000. All right, so we got a few scenarios here. The first scenario is we break above that critical resistance zone. If we break above the critical resistance zone, we will most likely continue the uptrend. All right, the second option is we come down, we retest that long-term trend line again here, and we bounce, or we crash below and retest the demand zone. So what should you be doing now? I've been saying it for a long time. Honestly, I've been saying it ever since we lost $53,000. I'll map it out again. This whole zone here, this whole triangular zone here, did it work? No. This whole, yep, there we go. This whole triangular zone here, we'll just color in red, is a no trade zone. You do not want to be trading, you can trade, but you definitely don't want to be trading with a lot of money. Right, like a very small percentage of your portfolio just to try and make short scalps. This is not the zone to be trading. This is a zone to be waiting and to be cautious. We are bouncing between a critical resistance and critical support, and we don't know the long-term direction. If we look at the weekly and we look at the larger time frame, which we did with Wolves of Crypto, we did a 45-minute discussion on that. The long-term projection is a lot more bearish right now than the short-term. The long-term indicators are pointing much more towards the downside than they are to the upside. And we've got to keep that in mind when analyzing the short-term timeframes, because it means even though we can have a relief rally, which we saw here, and everyone got bullish again, it means that these short little moves upwards aren't going to be sustained. They're not going to be continued. They're going to be cut short, and then we're going to see a crash back down, which is exactly what we saw. And that's why I've been telling people, be patient. There's no rush. Everyone keeps forgetting. There's absolutely no rush to be making trades in crypto. You do not need to be in the market 24/7. You absolutely do not need to be making a trade every single day. If you make one trade a week, or even one trade every 2 weeks, and ensure that trade is a winning trade, and you are profiting, then you are winning. All right, remember 97% of people in this market are losing money. All right, and they're losing money because they're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. If you're doing what you're doing and it's not working, you need to change it up. So I suggest right now, take a break, still look at the charts, just take a step back, reduce exposure, be more patient, and wait for a definitive move before we make any decisions. Right now, the definitive moves are, we bounce at 50, what now will be 45,000. Sorry, bounce at 45,000. That would be our entry. If we drop that trend line, we instantly sell, very tight stop loss. Looking for a bounce in that zone here between 41 to 43,000. Again, we'll enter there. If we bounce, we bounce. If we don't, we sell. All right, very small stop loss. And then finally, our entry point above our 52 to 53,000 break point. We want that daily candle to close, and that will be our entry. All right, guys, if you have any questions, remember, leave them below. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It's great to have you all on this channel. Really happy with how this channel is growing. I know a lot of our viewers aren't subbed, so make sure you click the subscribe button. We try to give you an honest and open opinion of the markets. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you how it is. Like I said before, my specialty is in technical analysis and data. So I'm always going to give you the unbiased opinion, and we're always going to be taking a look at both sides of a coin. We're not perma bulls, we're not perma bears. All right, guys. With that being said, links in the description for our Twitter and our Telegram. You can find our Telegram in the link, and obviously join that up. There's a lot of awesome content in there with a lot of trade signals, a lot of market updates. And we post all our YouTube channels in there, all our YouTube links in there. So if you don't have notifications on, you can find them in there too. All right, we'll see you in the next video.